What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Harrison, and today you saw the headline. We are talking about kind of the controversy between or with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So I will be very front with you guys. I have not played this game yet, or probably I probably won't. I'll probably end up passing on it, and not because of the all the technical issues that it's had, but my interest in Pokemon over the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years is really diminished. Really started with like Sun and Moon, and then Pokemon Sword and Shield came out. I picked it up. I don't think I don't think I finished that game. And then the remake of Diamond came out, which I bought, and just did not like it for obvious reasons. And then Arceus came out, and that game, Arceus is like the best thing to happen in Pokemon. Well, since Game Freak jumped into the 3D space with the Switch. I guess they had some 3D stuff on the DS, but especially since they jumped over to the Switch, it's been the best game. Period. And the Pokemon Let's Go, those games are pretty good too. But so yeah, my love for Pokemon has fallen off. I just don't think the games have lived up to what I expect them to be. Because back in the kid, you're like, yes, open world Pokemon game, amazing, and then you look at Scarlet and Violet, and it looks like a GameCube game at best. And I feel like that's being very, very fair. I don't think that's a crazy statement to say. It's kind of wild. I've seen arguments that people are saying like, Game Freak is lazy and all this stuff. I don't think Game Freak is lazy. I just don't think they have enough time to make these games because there's so much. Like, you look at the animation for Pokemon. The animations are bad. like they're pretty bad for most part, and they've always been. When they're back in the pixel days of like the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance and like DS, like it worked because it looked good, right? But now that we've got full renders of these Pokemon, the animation has just not been uh, up to par for what we expect. They blamed it on for Sword and Shield, not having the full Pokedex. They blamed it on the animation, which that's a lot of Pokemon. Um, but then like the animation, like Arceus wasn't really that great either. So I mean, what is it? So, Pokemon is a $1 billion plus company. So, again, I understand the logistics of you have to make the games to keep up with the anime, to keep up with the cards. There's a lot that goes into the creation of the games. What that doesn't have anything to do with like the actual game itself. They have to coincide with all the other stuff. So I get that stuff, but Pokemon needs a change. They need a switch. I don't know if they need a new engine. Game Freak has been doing it for forever, so I don't think necessarily switching developers is the right idea. I just think they need more time. It's to me it's inexcusable that Breath of the Wild, a launch game, a Wii U game in 2017 looks better than this by a lot. Like that's not even, saying that they're somewhat comparable. But the fact that it doesn't even look nearly as good as an almost 6-year-old game is kind of inexcusable. Obviously Zelda had way more of a budget than this does, but also, again, it's a $1 billion company. So to me, it's inexcusable. I think they need more time. I don't think their jump into the Switch era has been particularly great outside of Arceus. And even that game, it had some technical issues, and it was pretty ugly. So, I want to love Pokemon. I love the gameplay of it. I loved Arceus. I loved going around in that open zone, area. And then when they said this is gonna be open world, I was pretty excited. But then, towards like the last like month or so of advertisements and marketing, I was like, man, I don't know. I think I might pass, and I think that's probably going to be the case. Which I'm just one opinion out there. Not a huge Pokemon. I know people are diehard Pokemon fans. They'll play it no matter what. But you know, it, it's hard to say vote with your wallet because the Pokemon games are always going to sell. So like one sale isn't going to do anything. But this one seems to be more interesting because there are so many people talking about how bad it runs. So hopefully, obviously they'll update the game and make it run a little bit better, but hopefully on the next go around in the next few years, we'll get something more deserving of like a proper mainline Pokemon game. And I know they'll probably be at like another Legends game, which I'm very excited for. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I also don't think that the Switch hardware has, because people brought that up and like, oh, it's definitely time because Pokemon's never been a powerhouse like game. Like it's never, the graphics have never really been that great. They always looked great on like the 3DS, in the Game Boy because it's I'm not saying that it's easy to develop, but you don't have as much needed like fidelity and stuff like that. So again, if Breath of the Wild, Xenoblade 3 can look as good as they do on the Switch, I don't think there's any excuse that Pokemon cannot look as good as those, especially Zelda being 6 years old. So that's my opinion on it. It's frustrating. It's disappointing more so because I really want like that awesome open world game, and I've heard a lot of good things about the game too. Like I've heard it's just all the technical stuff aside, it's a really fun game, and I'm on a tipping point of picking it up, but I've got other stuff to play. God of War. I've got to get through to Mario. So Mario and Rabbids. So I may pick it up at some point. I don't quite know, but yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you guys not picking Pokemon up this time because of the technical issues and the ugliness of the graphics? Have you had enough about it? Or are you picking it up? Do you even care about that stuff as long as it's just another Pokemon game? Let me know. And then I'll have a couple other videos spread out the couple weeks over the next week. I'm doing a Xenoblade 3 spoiler episode and a Plague Tale episode. So keep an eye out for that. I'll also have the audio version for my podcast. I'll have that in the link below if you guys prefer audio format. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the video, and I will see you in the next one, and happy Thanksgiving.